All right, I think we're good. I think we're live. I don't know. Check on my phone just to be sure. YouTube's not very clear with these things. Especially with the recent updates. YouTube looks completely different on my end now. I think it looks different for viewers too. It's not popping up in the notifications though, which is a bit of a problem. I guess it doesn't really matter. Actually, it does matter. I need this pop up in notifications. A lot of my viewers come from people who have the notifications on, which is good. But then it's oh, there we go. Okay, it popped up for me. Good. Awesome. Okay. I have excellent news to share with everyone. I got the Blu-ray Top Gun Maverick today and watched it. Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic movie. I'm actually right now in a legal battle. I'm gonna call it a legal battle, but I don't know if that's the right word for it. With I guess Paramount. I guess whoever owns the copyright for Top Gun, because they took down my Top Gun Maverick video and gave me a copyright strike for it. So I've been kind of going back and forth with that, trying to get that video back up. It's only got 3,000 views and it's a couple months old now. So I said, why not? I wanted to get it back. I want to get it back up at least. I could just, delete it and let it go, but I'd prefer to get it back up. I could also re-upload it, but like I said, a lot of people already watched it, so what's the point? What's up, Skullraiser? So yeah, I've been trying to do a lot of reworking for like channel related stuff these past few days, because obviously with everything with like getting hacked and stuff, I rebooted my computer, like literally reset everything to avoid there being any leftovers of any sort of hacking stuff remaining on the computer. So I rebooted my entire computer, which meant I have to re-download everything, and I wasn't able to get back some of my other stuff, like some softwares and stuff. And so I had to try out some new stuff. And right now I'm trying Adobe Premiere Pro, which I usually used Vegas, and I'm trying to use a new version of Vegas, but it's really glitchy and laggy. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try Adobe Premiere as well. I'm trying to learn everything right now. It's taken a while. So if you're wondering why there's less videos than usual, that's probably why. I'm just really trying to learn all these different softwares and stuff. And I have to also, this stream might not even be the best quality because I'm still working with the camera quality, trying to make sure it's as good as it was before I did the whole, resetting of my computer. I'm also going to change this a little bit just because it looks cooler like that. All right, there we go. The background, by the way, is just, it's a Walking Dead image. I changed it. I think it's the season 10C background or poster. What is Camp Rock? I don't know. It's a movie, I think. What about it though? I don't know. I haven't really seen it, so I wouldn't know. Let me know if there's anything wrong with the audio, by the way, or the video. Anything. If anything goes wrong with the stream, just yell at me about it, because I got to make sure I'm on top of that stuff and I can fix it. Unrelated to movies, but have you heard the song Bad Habit by Steve Lacy? I have, yeah. Actually, it's all over TikTok. All over TikTok. Which, yeah, you'd be surprised if you ever were watching one of my streams like a year or two ago. I probably said something along the lines of I don't use TikTok, but I eventually fell into the TikTok loophole and now I do use it, and I kind of wish I never did because it is time consuming. It is very time consuming. It shouldn't be, because it's the algorithm really gets you, and it's actually really interesting stuff. Hold on, I'm gonna listen to the stream real quick, see if my TikTok loophole. I do use it, and I kind of wish I never did because it is time consuming. I don't know. I'm a little not sure about how like the quality of my audio right now, but whatever. If you guys like it, I'm fine with that. It's just I'm just really picky with that stuff. That's why. But yeah, with TikTok, it's really interesting how like the algorithm works and stuff, and that's actually like scary because they really do know what to put on your. Sorry about that. Had to answer someone. Stream quality and audio is good so far. We'll let you know. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Just because, yeah, I've been messing with this stuff, so I'm not too sure exactly what I want it to be. Don't Worry Darling yesterday, but I hated the twist in the movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'm probably going to watch it on my own. I don't think I'm going to do a video for it. I could if people really wanted me to, but I don't think I will, to be honest. How many views? Congrats on 25k subs. Thank you. How many views is your channel up to now, and what is your most viewed video? I think I have somewhere around like 5 million to 6 million total views, somewhere around that point. And my most viewed video on this channel is just a Walking Dead seasons ranking video, which I believe is at like 115,000 views. You can actually check it's actually, if you go on my channel, you click the popular filter, it actually will filter it in, and you'll see the most popular videos at the top. My other channel though, my gaming one, I do have a couple videos that were closer to like 200,000. I think one of them has like almost 300,000 at this point. But I don't know. It doesn't like really matter though, because a lot of them were much older videos. Like some of the ones that on my other channel that had like 200,000, terrible videos, like awful videos. So like I was hoping actually people wouldn't have watched those. Can you do a reaction to the Good Son 1993 movie? I've never heard of that, but I never say never to these things. I'm never gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna react to that, but I'm also not gonna ever say for sure that I will. It's just possibility. Do you think we will see anything CRM related in the final episode of season 11? If you asked me 4 weeks ago, I would have said yes, but given that we're only 1 episode away, I'm gonna say no, which is unfortunate. I really was hoping for it, but I don't think they're gonna do anything with that, other than a couple teasers maybe. Do you have any tutorial videos and Adobe products you can share? I would just say just look them up online, like just, you know, research. Whatever ones at the top. Usually take the ones that have not the most views, but the channels that upload it with the most subscribers. That's the ones I would click on, just because it sounds like shitty, because it's like, oh, you're gonna support only the big creators, not the smaller ones. Because yeah, there could be small creators that are good, but it's just a credibility thing. Like chances are, if they have that many subs, they probably are better at video editing. Chances are, it's not guaranteed, chances are. So I would take their opinion a little bit more seriously if they have a lot of subs and if they have good editing, because then like if I watch a video like about like mic quality, like it's a mic tutorial about like the best mic settings or something, and the person's mic sounds like awful in the video, I'm not gonna continue watching, because I'm like, well, if his audio sucks, why would his tutorial be good for it, you know? So I would just say look that up. Death predictions for The Walking Dead 11/24. I don't really want to say them right now because I am worried that there's some people who haven't seen some of the recent episodes. So just to avoid like spoiling things, because technically like it is kind of spoiling it by saying who I think's gonna die in that episode, because then they know that person didn't die in episode 23. And the only reason I'm saying that is because episode 23 is not out for everyone, right? If it was out for everyone, I would be, you know, saying whatever about it. But the problem is it's not out for everyone. So I'd rather not, just because, you know, that's just how it is. When The Walking Dead now, they have like the split episode thing where AMC Plus members get it a week early. So I just got to be careful with that. Are you liking The Walking Dead this season? I've only seen the first part of season 11. I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. And that's my issue. Like, I'm liking it. Like, I see some people thinking I'm like hating on the season or something. Like, what do you mean? Why are you loving this? I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time, but it's not like incredible, you know? And that's what I feel like the final season of The Walking Dead should be, which is my biggest issue with the season, is that it doesn't feel like a final season. It does not at all, which, because it wasn't supposed to be the final season originally. So that kind of makes sense. But man, I really wish things were different with it, to be honest. I think there's still definitely a way for them to make it work in the end. I've been talking about this before. I talked about this on a video. If they're to do like a movie, like a crossover movie after all these spinoffs, and that's like a way to finalize the Walking Dead universe, then I think I'd be okay with that. That would actually work. You could even put the Fear characters in there. You can put, you know, all the spinoff characters. You can do it in some way. I'm sure it could work. But right now, it's just unfortunate that this ending is more of an ending for the Commonwealth. It's not really an ending for the series, because you're still going to have more stuff afterwards. It's just, I don't know. I'm not like crazy about the ending so far, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm still really liking it. I'm going to definitely have a ranking video for all the seasons posted right after the finale, so you guys can see exactly how I feel about season 11. I will say right now, season 11 is somewhere in the middle. So it's not like the bottom of the list. It's not the top. Somewhere in the middle. 5 million is insane. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's too crazy. Just it's great. It's good. I'm not gonna try to downplay it, but because I have posted so many videos, it does kind of, you know what I mean. Like if you post that many videos, you're bound to get quite a bit views over time. Because it's also a lot of them are returning viewers too. It's not like it's new people. So it's not like it's 5 million people. It's more like, I don't know, probably a couple 100,000 people, maybe. I don't know. Actually, you could check that in your analytics. I think I just don't think I checked it. Like how many individual viewers those are. Do you have a name for your moles? I don't. Love your Walking Dead content. Thank you, JDevTV. I appreciate it. I highly recommend the movie Chronicle. I've already seen it, actually. That's a pretty good movie. I agree. Stranger Things 5.1 is titled The Crawl. I did see that, yeah. I have no idea what that's going to refer to, but... Do you have an update on when Mission Impossible 3 is on the way? So, hopefully within this month. The reason I've been so... I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the stream, but, you know, obviously I've had... some PC issues in the beginning of October. I was hacked the end of October, and I'm also just having a busy month in college too, or busy couple months. So that's why there hasn't been as many movie reactions, especially these past few months. I will definitely be pumping them out way more in the future, and I'm not in a crazy rush for Mission Impossible because the next one doesn't come out till next year anyways, so I do have some time, but I will try to get to Mission Impossible 3 this month. I will try my best. There's a couple other reactions. I have a Don't Breathe reaction, Black Swan, No Country for Old Men. All of those are already recorded and they're on Patreon. I just have to edit them and put them to YouTube. So I have those 3. I also have a bunch of show reactions like Jessica Jones and The Boys. So we're gonna get to all that. But definitely, Mission Impossible 3 is definitely one of the next ones that I'm probably gonna be doing. Me and my friends starting a podcast. Would you be willing to guest in the future? No pressure. Oh, definitely. That'd be cool. Just hit me up on Twitter for that, actually. If you message me on Twitter about it, I will get back to you. Hopefully. I don't know, because I do get a lot of Twitter DMs, and some of them I don't answer because some of them are like weird. So sometimes they're hard to filter, like the weird ones and the actual normal ones. And sometimes I just miss one, so I do apologize if someone does say something and I miss it. Do you have any other YouTube channels? Yeah. Everything that I have should be in the description. If it's not there, let me know. But there should be the gaming channel. It's down there. There's the other channel, which it's not really for anything. It's just there. I just post stuff there if I don't feel like posting it to anything else. And then, yeah, I have a Twitch. It's all down there. DaVinci Resolve. I have tried that too. And it seems okay. I just haven't tried it out enough. I'm trying that. Premiere Pro and Vegas Pro like all at once. So now that Pearl's available on demand, will you be doing a video for it? I'm debating it, but I might. Pearl and Terrifier 2 are 2 movies that came out, and I will be most likely doing reactions for. It's just hard doing reactions to newer movies because they're way more likely to have problems with copyright. So that's why I always kind of like to avoid those types of reactions, just because it's like they're bound to getting copyright claimed. But I really want to, because both those movies have been getting a lot of praise, so I think it'd be worth it to watch them. And I enjoyed X a lot, so I didn't like Terrifier 1. I did see it when it first came out. I hated it. I thought it was pretty terrible. But a lot of people who also thought the first one was terrible and think the second one's great. So I'm gonna hope that will also reign true for me. But I didn't really like the first Terrifier. I thought it was kind of stupid. I mean, it was cool, like, I guess. It wasn't like, it wasn't that good. I gave it like a 2 out of 5, I think, on Letterboxd or something. You missed my joke about your hack in Adobe tutorials. Oh, I definitely missed it. Oh, you meant like, because I was yeah, okay, I see. You were referring to, I did miss it. I thought you were legitimately just asking for good tutorials. Well, those videos that they were posting on my channel weren't even like tutorials. They were just cracks, like how to get it for free and stuff. So it wasn't even like actual tutorials on how to use the programs. Are you gonna watch Andor? I watched the first 4 episodes and I was really enjoying it, but I stopped because 1, time concern, and 2, I don't want to do reactions for it anymore for a couple of reasons. 1, the reactions were doing terrible, and I mean god awful. I think it was the worst videos I posted in years. Like, they were getting like 200 to 300 views, which is a lot for some people, but like my typical, view count is more like 2,000 to like, 4,000 or 5,000. So getting 200 views is like really hurting my channel. So like, I just don't want to bother with that. I'm sure some later episodes might get more views. I don't know, but by the time I post it anyways, it just wouldn't be worth it. So That was one thing. Another thing, Disney was being relentless with those copyright claims on Andor videos. I don't know why. They were never relentless on any other Marvel or Star Wars content, so I don't know why they're so relentless for Andor, but they were. So I was like, it was really hard for me to get those videos up. So I was like, I'm just gonna give up. I might watch it on my own though. I probably will do that, or at the very least, I will react to it and post them to Patreon. But I probably won't do them for YouTube. I'm sorry if people want to see it. I apologize, but I just don't have the time. If I had the time, I think I would. What Walking Dead videos are going to do after season 11 ends? Okay, I have a ton of videos planned. I'll just list off a few. The first one I'm going to do is going to be a ranking of every Walking Dead season. So I was originally going to rank every Walking Dead universe season, so that includes Fear, World Beyond, and Tales of the Walking Dead. But I decided to just do it for The Walking Dead, just all 11 seasons, and it's just going to be a ranking of each of those seasons. Not a tier ranking. It's going to be a more like in-depth like analysis of every season type video of the season of a whole, and that's going to be posted right after the episode, or probably a couple weeks, or not a couple weeks, maybe a couple days, however long it takes me to make it, I guess. And that one I'm really going to enjoy. The reason I'm doing that instead of the universe, a couple of reasons. First of all, a lot of people haven't seen Fear, and I'm kind of worried that the people who haven't seen the other Walking Dead shows won't even bother watching the video because of all that extra fluff the video is going to have with all these other shows. I'd rather just stick it to just the main series because that's what most people have seen. And also because I do plan to rank all the universe seasons later on, after we get Fear season 8 and after we get the spin-offs. So we have 3 other spin-off series. We have the Maggie and Negan one, the Daryl one, and the Rick and Michonne one. So I'd rather wait till those come out and I can rank all of those together. It'd be like a massive like 24 season ranking type thing. But I want to stick to just doing the 11 seasons for the first video. And I'm also going to rank every single episode, all 177 episodes of the whole series from season 1 to 11. I'm going to rank every single one of them. That video is going to take me probably like weeks to do, so I don't know how quickly I'll be able to get that one out, but I'm definitely going to try my best. I was thinking of doing another character ranking, but I don't think I will do like a tier ranking like I did last time. I think I'm just going to do like a top 10 characters maybe, just like really go in depth on those 10 characters and why I think they're such great, well-written characters. I'll definitely probably do something like that. Maybe a couple other rankings. I could definitely do just a couple reviews too, just like on how I felt about the entire series in different ways. Like there's a lot of things I have planned, but none of them are really concrete. The only 2 that are concrete are those first 2 videos for sure. There might be some loud noises in the background, by the way. Just try to ignore it. Okay, so yeah, those are the videos I have planned pretty much. Just not much more than that. I was thinking about doing a tier ranking of all the relationships, but I kind of wanted to save that for a Valentine's Day. That'd be kind of fun. For The Walking Dead, for the Walking Dead relationships. But the thing is, I would make sure it's just like the actual like relationships, not just the ones that people would like to see happen. You know what I mean? Because I've seen people rank them, and they rank like every little possible relationship. I'm like, no, that's too much. Just the ones that are actual relationships, and not in terms of like how well they are together. That wouldn't interest me. I'm more of like how well written is it and how important are they for the story, that type of thing. What do you think the hackers' intentions were for taking over your channel? I really couldn't tell you. I think it's money related. They probably just wanted to steal my channel revenue, but they never got around to it. What is your favorite Chucky movie? Child's Play 2. That's mine too, actually. When do you plan to pick Daredevil Season 3? After I finish Jessica Jones Season 1 and The Defenders. So that probably won't be till 2023, I'm not going to lie. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. It probably won't be till 2023 because it's going to take some time. Season 11 is my 3rd worst after 7 and 8. Interesting. I don't like how they announced the spin-off shows before the show end. Like we know Daryl, Maggie, and Negan will live. I agree. I completely agree with that. But another thing about that though, how could they possibly have filmed them without them getting leaked? You know what I mean? They would have to have waited like a whole nother year or 2 to start filming, because obviously people would find out that Negan and Maggie were filming in New Jersey and New York, so they'd be like, oh, they're doing more Walking Dead stuff. So I guess they could have played it off as them doing reshoots, but like, why would they do reshoots in New Jersey? I don't know. Will you watch Terrifier 2 in here? I'm thinking about it, yeah. Barbarian I already saw. I have a review posted for that. Thank you, Jason Carr. I appreciate it, man. Real name's Dan. You probably see it in the comments. It's Koi use quite often. Will you do a season ranking for the Daredevil or the Boys? No, but I'm probably going to do a character ranking for those. Because a season ranking I don't think would make much sense just because they're not really like popular right in this second. But I think a character ranking would be more interesting for both of those. Definitely for the Boys after I finish season 3. I'm definitely going to do that. I think I'll do a season ranking after The Boys season 4, though. That would make more sense. So when The Boys season 4 comes out, I'll do a season ranking. And then Daredevil, I'll probably wait till Born Again comes out, and then I'll rank Born Again along with the 3 Daredevil seasons. So that would be cool. But that's going to be a while from now. I don't even know if I'll still be doing videos by then. That's so long from now. I hate planning things so far in advance like that because I don't know if I'll be still making videos by then. Terrifier 1 is kind of lame, but 2 is crazy. I've been hearing that, so that's why I'm still looking forward to it, even if I didn't like the first one at all. I did hear it's really gory, the second one, which, that's the thing, like, I have a pretty, like, I can handle gore pretty well, more than most people, I think, but at the same time, there is a limit, and I have to be in the mood for it, too. So, I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm going to feel about all that gore, but hopefully it's not too bad. Do you think Rick Grimes will return in the finale? Shit, if I really hope, but if they don't, I'm gonna be incredibly disappointed. I'll say that much. Yeah, so the thing about gore, the only like really gory things I've seen, like I think Saw is like the most gory, not the first Saw, but like some of the later ones, are like the most gory films I've personally seen. There's probably a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head, but haven't seen like any really gory films, so I wonder how Terrifier 2 is gonna like compare to that. Like CGI gore is never that hard to watch because it's like, yeah, it's obviously like The Boys is really gory. The Boys is a really gory show, but it's all CGI, so most of it's CGI, not all of it. Don't quote me on that. I know not all of it's CGI, but a lot of it is. So when you watch it, you're like, oh, it's CGI. It's still great. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just you don't feel as like grossed out by it. But when it's like, you know, like a real looking gore, like some like The Thing, like really real looking gore, that's when it usually hits you a little bit more. The spin-offs are so unnecessary. They're going to flop, except the Rick and Michonne one. I hope they don't flop, because if they flop, then Walking Dead's going to be done for. They're never going to do anything else ever again, and I want them to. I think there's a lot of ideas for them to do. They just need the budget for it, man. They need the budget. That's the biggest issue with the whole franchise, and nobody can convince me otherwise. I don't care about any of your other criticisms with that show. They mostly all go back to the budget. Mostly, right? I've heard so many stories of different things. Even Sam, what was his name? The guy who voices Darth Maul in the Clone Wars. Sam Witwicky? Not Witwicky. That's the guy from Transformers. That's the fucker from Transformers. Sam something. He was talking that he was supposed to do a Walking Dead spinoff, because he was the one who played the Tank Walker in the first episode of the first series, right? And there was supposed to be like a spinoff about him and how he led to that point. I personally wouldn't have cared that much about that, to be honest, but I guess it would have been cool to see. But he was talking about a podcast, and he said the reason they didn't do it, he literally said it. He said, because AMC was cheap. He literally said that right on the podcast. Because AMC was cheap and didn't want to spend some money, which is true. And I understand that I understand that from a perspective when you're not making a lot of money, so how can you put more money out? I get it. But The Walking Dead was at such a high like point in like 2015, 2016. They were getting upwards of like 15 million viewers per episode on their live ratings, right? They had a budget at that point. They could have spent it properly, and I feel like they just didn't allocate the resources in a good way, and they ended up losing viewers partially because of that. Because season 7 spent a lot of their budget on like locations and sets, because like you had so many crazy big sets. I mean, they had so many places they had to purchase for that season, which is great because it was nice to see all these different locations. But because of all these different sets, you can tell they had to cut back in some places, which is why in season 7, you barely see Rick for most of it. Like you see Rick for maybe like 7 of the 16 episodes that season, something like that. So when that happens, fans start to, stop watching. And that's why people stop watching. And when they stop watching, the budget drops because they have to spend less because they're making less. And that's why the budget's as low as it is now. And they can't really do as much with it. Also, all the spin-off shows, they did too many with that. I think Fear the Walking Dead was cool, but they could have cut it short at a certain point. They didn't have to go on for 8 seasons or something. Barbarian is underrated in my opinion. I agree. Andy Muschietti might direct Justice League 2. Depends how The Flash does. If The Flash does really well, I could definitely see him directing Justice League 2. But I'm honestly, I'm not like one of those Zack Snyder people who are like always like Zack Snyder needs to come back, all these things. But I really would like for him to come back because I do like him as a director. I do. Even though I'm not like one of those people who are like freak out. Like there's people who are really severe with that and they'll be like, if we don't have Zack Snyder back, I'm not watching DC. Like they'll trash on anything DC that isn't Zack Snyder. That's a bit far. But I personally like his directing and I think it would be really great to have him direct Justice League 2. But yeah, it probably will be Andy Muschietti if The Flash does well. Fear Season 6 was really good, but it also started going downhill at the same time. They killed a couple of characters, which just shattered my interest, so I haven't watched it since. Fear Season 6, the start of it, like the first 9 episodes was fire. I think that was the best period of Fear the Walking Dead, and that makes Season 6, I think, my favorite season as a whole. But after episode 9, even 10 was decent, but after like that, the rest of the season was pretty meh. I did not enjoy the whole nuke stuff. I think they should have just not done season 7 and 8, right? Because they're doing season 7, and now they already did season 7. I haven't finished it yet, but I don't really like it too much so far. Season 8 is going to happen, but it shouldn't, to be honest. They should have just had season 6 right after the whole Virginia plot in episode 9. They should have had those characters go to Commonwealth. They've somehow learned about Commonwealth and they go to Commonwealth. And the season 6 ends with them getting to Commonwealth. And then these characters from Fear, the characters that remain, join The Walking Dead season 11. And instead of doing the Reapers arc in season 11, we get more stuff with the variants. The variants would have been introduced way earlier, like in the beginning of season 11. We could have really focused on the variants as well as Commonwealth. Don't worry about the Reapers. Reapers are not even a thing, right? And also have the Fear characters there at Commonwealth. So we can start the Commonwealth storyline even earlier, have the Fear characters get involved, so then you have more characters in the show that more people care about. Also, you should have killed off more people in season 10, so there's just less fluff in the show. There's not as many characters that we have to focus on. There's less, more interesting. Keep the interesting characters. The characters aren't as interesting. You can kill them off in season 10, make the Whisper War a little bit more impactful in that way. And then you have the Fear characters, the really good ones. Like you can have, I'm not going to list them all off, but you know what I mean? The good ones, especially like Morgan. I would love to see Morgan come back and, reunite with everyone. And then you have that Commonwealth storyline go on with the Fear characters, with the Walking Dead characters. And season 11 would be like the final season for both of these shows. That would have been fucking perfect, but I'm not the one who's running things there, so Have you ever seen the series Heroes? Nope. It's about ordinary people who begin to develop superhuman abilities. Interesting. I don't get why the Walking Dead budget is so low when they kept the lights on for special effects. Kept the lights on. FX last decade. I don't know what you mean by that. I noticed after watching a few reactions to the boys you brought something up, the greatness of Homelander's facial expressions. Is your favorite character or something? In that show, I don't know, my favorite characters go up and down. Favorite is in terms of like, he's the one I am most entertained by, not that I think he's a good person. I need to make that fucking clear because people take that so the wrong way. I remember when The Walking Dead was during season 8, Negan was obviously the villain at that point. Very terrible person, definitely in season 7 more than anything. He got a little bit better in season 8. But I loved this character and I was like, he's such a great character and all these things. People are like, you're crazy, you're supporting a guy who bashed open someone's head. I'm like, I'm not supporting him. He's a fucking fictional character. Like, what are you freaking out about? He's a fictional character. I can like him as a character in terms of how interesting he is and how whatever. But yeah, no, Homelander is definitely, I think, one of my favorite characters. He's very interesting. I don't know if he's my favorite though. I feel like Butcher's almost just as good. Huey, surprisingly, I really do find an interest in, just because he's like the more relatable one that like I feel like most people relate to more because he's more of the average man type thing. Um, Starlight's great. Yeah, I guess those four are probably my favorites, and those are also probably the four main characters. So, you know, makes sense that they be my favorites. The Walking Dead World Beyond, it was one of the worst things they ever tried to get a teen fandom to watch it, and nobody did. Yeah, that was a bad idea all around. I don't mind having a show based more on kids. It could work. I just don't think they've picked kids that were that interesting. And I don't think it's the actors either, because they were okay. Like, I didn't think they were bad. They just didn't give them many interesting things to do. I think The Walking Dead just needs to go in a darker direction. That is what I've been wanting for so long, and I don't feel like they do that enough. I think some of season 11 has been pretty dark, I will say, but they have so much going on. It's like, oh, here's the thing, by the way. I need to bring this up, because when it comes to budget, right? The budget is not like it's small or anything, right? When I say this budget's not that big, I don't mean it's a small budget, because it's not. You compare it to a lot of other shows, it is higher than other shows. Most likely. We don't know the budget numbers. We don't. But just basing off of the viewers and stuff, I'm sure it's bigger than most shows, right? All we know is the budget of season 1, because that's all AMC has ever released. But because The Walking Dead is an apocalyptic show, and there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of action scenes, there's a lot of things they need to spend money on, they need a higher budget, right? It's comparative. It's comparative based on what the show requires. So compared to Breaking Bad, right? Breaking Bad does not require a big budget. It doesn't. Most of the show is just filming on the streets of Albuquerque. They don't have to, pay out for these really expensive sets. They don't have to do all these crazy, special effects walkers, and they don't have to do crazy action scenes as often. They have some action scenes, but they're not frequent. You just have to pay for really good actors, and obviously the writing team, like, they're really great, obviously, but they're not like, it's not adding much more to the budget, really. So that show requires a much less budget than what The Walking Dead would. I'm sure The Walking Dead's budget probably even higher than Breaking Bad. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm just assuming it might be. But that doesn't mean it's a better budget, because it's not working for what this show is. This show needs something much bigger. This show needs a Game of Thrones budget. It needs a Stranger Things budget, because it's that big of a show. Like, imagine Game of Thrones off of this budget. It just wouldn't work. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but I've heard a lot about it. That's what I'm basing my opinions off of. But a budget like that is what The Walking Dead would need. You know what I mean? Game of Thrones outgrowing The Walking Dead is so crazy, because there was a time when The Walking Dead was way bigger. Yeah, I noticed that, because I always heard people talking about it on Twitter, and they were talking about it more than The Walking Dead. And even, I think Game of Thrones released at the same time as The Walking Dead. Like, were they releasing Sunday nights? Because if they were, then they probably had some overlap. No The Boys spoilers, please. Yeah, I won't give any here. I can't be sure anyone else will, though, so definitely be on the lookout, just in case anyone does. But I won't say anything. Unless I already did. Did I? I hope I didn't. I really hope I didn't. We all love Wes Craven here. Did you ever watch My Soul to Take? It was his last movie he directed and was so underrated. I haven't. I've only seen his Scream movies. I've seen the Nightmare on Elm Street movies he made. And Red Eye. Was there another one I saw? I don't remember. I do plan on watching more of his movies, though. I would love to. Yeah, there's so many cast members, and they do take up a lot of the budget. Like, they're expensive people. They are. Are you excited for Scream 6? Oh, definitely, yeah. I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be New York City, right? So that's interesting. What do you rate Modern Warfare 2 so far out of 10? Probably like a 6. Are you ready for Scream 6? Yep. I am definitely ready for it. How do you think Stranger Things could end? With literally everyone dying. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, that's how I thought The Walking Dead was going to end originally. That's honestly my mind, my idea for the ending was everyone dies, which is so fucked up. But in the same sense, I was like, I wouldn't mind that. Like, I don't know what it is about dark endings, but sometimes I like them. Like, there's a lot of movies, like The Mist, for example, without spoilers, dark ass ending. I don't mind movies like that. I don't. Sometimes it's realistic. Like, if the series ended with literally them all realizing we cannot survive this world, let's just let the zombies take over, because that's just all we can do. I would not be against that. Crazy to think I wouldn't, but I wouldn't. Or just Judith surviving. She's the only one, and she tells everyone about, all the people who led her to, surviving. I don't know. No, I would definitely prefer a, happier ending, but I'm just saying, I don't think I would be against a really fucked up ending like that. You gonna watch Wednesday's series with Jenna Ortega? I saw the trailer and it looked interesting. I might watch it, but if I do, it's gonna be on my own time. Who's the better actress, Millie Bobby Brown or Jenna Ortega? I don't know. They're both pretty good. I don't really think I can choose one. What do you think about Carrie Payton saying he's not satisfied at all with his character on The Walking Dead? Yeah, honestly, I don't get that completely, because obviously I have a lot of criticism with the show recently, but Ezekiel was never a criticism I had. I thought his character was pretty good. Like, I enjoyed his character arc, you know, especially in the couple of recent episodes, like his stuff he's, you know, back and forth with Negan and stuff. I liked it. I thought it was good. But he thinks it wasn't. It's fair to say, but I never saw an issue with it. Kept the lights on, they were keeping AMC relevant. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, AMC probably would have been like, they could have made some deal with like Netflix maybe, and just, no, would The Walking Dead be good as a Netflix series? Oh, Stranger Things is a Netflix series, and that's pretty damn good. I think that they made a deal with Netflix and actually turned it into a Netflix series, like a lot of series do. I think that might have been better for it. I don't know. I guess it depends on what kind of restrictions that would mean for the show. Like, there's so many other like things they could have gone, so many other routes. I think Robert Kirkman or whoever was trying to get The Walking Dead made into a show. I'm not sure if Robert Kirkman was the one to try to make it into a show, but I forget who it went to, but I know HBO was originally going to take The Walking Dead, but they decided against it because HBO wanted to turn it into like a less gory, more like something based on like, I forget what it was, but it was something really ridiculous that they were automatically like, we're not doing that. You know, AMC was the only studio that was like, yeah, we'll keep all the gore and it will be exactly what you guys want it to be for the most part. And then things went everywhere, which is another issue I have with the show. Lack of direction, because we've had so many different directors and showrunners on this series, so many different directions, so many different routes, and it's kind of impossible to keep the same route and the same plan all the way through, because actors are people, you know, they're human. Some of them are gonna leave, some of them are gonna do that, you know. So whatever their plan was can't always stay course, because you're gonna have to change things when the actors want to leave or whatever happens, you know. Like, I think season 1, Daryl was supposed to be killed off or something like that, and they automatically were like, oh, this is a really good actor, he's pretty cool, let's keep him around. And people were just in love with him, so they kept him around longer. Like, fan feedback does impact the story, and you cannot convince me otherwise. There is no way you can convince me that fan feedback does not impact the decisions they make in the writer's room for The Walking Dead. And for most shows, really. Not all shows, but most shows, I can definitely see that being the case. And I don't like that. I've always been so against that. I don't want you to take take fan feedback and be like, okay, let's do exactly what the fans want all the time. I want you to tell the story that you think is good. That to me is the brilliance of filmmaking and storytelling. I want to see the story you want to tell. That is what I'm interested in. If I don't like it, whatever, that's fine. Not everyone has to love it, but I want to see the story you want to tell. And that's why I always dislike the idea of trying to appeal to the fans, which is why I think fan service, although it could be done right, sometimes it does feel disingenuous, and it's not like something that they actually had passion for. Now, if they have passion for it and they clearly were interested in telling the story they did, then whatever, I'm fine with it. But it has to be done in a good way. And I just don't think it always is. An example I can come up with is fans were definitely complaining about them killing off too many characters in The Walking Dead. So then they do the exact opposite and kill off literally no one. Like, no one's been dying. Like, I don't like that. I never feel like a character is in danger anymore. I'm not going to give any spoilers for recent episodes, but I just don't feel like anyone's in danger anymore. So, I don't know. It takes away the tension just a little bit, because they haven't killed off many people recently. So, I don't know. Season 9 killed off a lot, so it's not like it's an Angela Kang thing. People are like, oh, Angela Kang. She was killing off a lot of people in Season 9. Season 9 killed off a ton. But then, like, once Season 10 came around, they were just like, yeah, let's just have, like, no one die. Like, why? You guys have so many characters. You can kill off some people. It's okay. We're not going to leave the show because you kill off a character. Some people did, unfortunately. So I do understand why they did that. It's just, but again, I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they listen so heavily to fan feedback like that. Where was I? I don't think I ever answered the how Stranger Things could end question. I kind of reverted to talking about The Walking Dead. I don't know how it can end. I hope it ends with like an apocalypse though. Or season 5 starts with an apocalypse and then somehow they're able to wrap up the apocalypse and get back to the old world somehow. I don't know. Do you think we'll be getting a Scream 6 trailer in December? That would make sense if it comes out in March, yeah. But the characters that are still alive on Chucky right now, who do you think will die by the end of the season? Nadine. Yeah, probably Nadine. That's all. I don't really think any. Oh, obviously, like the priest and stuff. What's his name? The main guy, the Devon Sawa, the dude Devon Sawa was playing. They'll probably die. What do you prefer in horror movies? Those supernatural or those gory suspense? Definitely gory suspense. Supernatural is fine too. I mean, you could have supernatural and gory suspense at the same time. I think the one horror genre I don't like that much is like the exorcism stuff. I don't mind it. Like there's some that have done it really well. I think one of them was Deliver Us from Evil. I really enjoyed that one. Most of them though, I feel like they're just not that interesting to me. A lot of ghost ones in general, I don't find that interesting. It has to be done really well, and then I'll like it. I think my preferred genre though is psychological horror and like slashers. The Walking Dead budget is definitely bigger than Breaking Bad. Yeah, because it's kind of has to be, but yeah. For The Walking Dead, I believe you said the directing wasn't going on a path that you would like, so what if the original director had stayed instead of the recent ones, but you still like the show as much? I don't know. It's hard to tell because, look, the original showrunner, or, you know, he ran the whole show for season 1, right? He was one of the main directors and stuff. Frank Darabont. I'm sure you guys all know who Frank Darabont is. He is by far the most talented director that has ever worked on The Walking Dead, without a doubt. This man made The Green Mile. He made Shawshank Redemption. He made The Mist. He is a great, great director. And season 1, I enjoy of The Walking Dead. I do enjoy season 1, right? My issue with Frank Darabont, and I don't know this all for a fact. A lot of this is rumors and stuff. It's hard to get, you know, concrete answers into what happened. But a lot of it is apparently he had plans for... By the way, I apologize if you're not a Walking Dead fan and you just hear me talking about The Walking Dead this whole time. I'm just answering the question. So if it's a Walking Dead question, I'm going to answer it. And I have a lot to say about The Walking Dead because it's what's popular right now. But I do apologize if you're not a fan. I will talk about some other stuff this stream for sure. But yeah, Frank Darabont, his direction for the show seemed like he wanted to take it more in a direction of something similar to like 28 Days Later, which is why season 1 feels so similar to 28 Days Later, in my opinion. I'm not like, you know, saying it's the same thing, but it definitely feels more similar. The walkers kind of feel more similar as well. And he also wanted to go in a different direction than the comics. He did not want to closely resemble the comics that much. And a lot of other directors, especially Robert Kirkman, I believe, were against that. But the thing that really got the issues rolling with Frank Darabont is the fact that AMC wasn't going to give the show high enough budget, and he was not about that. He wanted a bigger budget, which is fair, because they upped the episode count for season 2, but they also split the budget, which is why season 2 spent so long on the farm. If you guys didn't know, in the comics, they spend like maybe a couple issues on the farm. They're not on the farm for that long. Realistically, in the show, they should have been on the farm for like 4 episodes. I was fine with it though, because I loved the farm storyline, but they were not supposed to do that, right? And sorry, I thought someone was trying to get in this room. I thought I heard the doorknob turning. What was I saying? So yeah, the farm. They cut the budget in half. That's why they had to spend the whole season on the farm. And they weren't able to do anything too crazy that season in terms of like scale. And Frank Darabont wanted to do a lot more. So he got in trouble with AMC because he was like yelling and cursing at them and stuff because of it. And I think they either fired him or he quit. I'm not 100% sure how that worked out. So what would have happened if he stayed on? I really think the show would have been fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But it would have been very different than the comics. And I don't think it would have ever gotten to the really awesome parts of the comics that we all know and love. I don't think it would have been as over the top. Now, the over-the-top elements of the show are hit or miss for some people. I personally love the over-the-top elements of the show. I don't even think are over the top. I'm using the word over the top. I don't even think they are. Like the tiger, yeah, that's a bit crazy, but it's not far out of reality. You could have a tiger. You could, right? There's also like the, you know, the stormtrooper costumes the Commonwealth uses. That's not far out of reality. You could see that. It feels over the top and more like comic booky because it comes from a comic book. But I love those elements of the show. It makes it unique. It stands it out from other zombie shows and movies. But I don't think Frank Darabont would have done any of that. I do think it would have just stayed the way season 1 was, and it would have stayed in that level. And I don't know if the show would have lasted that much longer. I'm not sure. I'm sure it would have been amazing, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure if I would have loved it the same way I do now, you know, because I do think my favorite seasons are from season 4, 5, and 6. He wasn't involved in those, so I don't know. Do you think Emma Roberts would have been a good Harley Quinn? Probably. Have you watched Dexter? Nope. But I want to react to it. I actually put on the polls when I did the TV show polls, and not many people voted for it, so I don't know if people want to see me react to it, but I would love to. Which Stranger Things kid do you think will be the most successful besides Millie? I would say, forgetting his name, but the kid who plays Mike, probably. I don't think Steve dies in season 5. The time to kill Steve is over. I'd be worried for Joyce or Dustin. They'll kill at least 1 or 2 characters, I think. Not too many, though. Just let you know, Soldier Boy Jensen Ackles from Supernatural and the creator of Supernatural, Eric, don't know how to pronounce that last name, is the creator of The Boys. Oh, I didn't know that. I've always wanted to watch Supernatural, so maybe I will one day. The Walking Dead used to be one of the most tweeted about shows back in the day, and now it's not really matching those numbers anymore. Yeah, it's definitely not. I hate they made Jonathan in Stranger Things a stoner with no story importance. Yeah, season 4 didn't do anything with Jonathan. That was kind of disappointing, too. He was kind of just there. He was one of my favorite characters before that, too. If Rick does return in the finale or any of the spin-offs, how do you want his entrance to be? I want his entrance to be heroic, like some sort of a like big, like I'm talking like, you know, our characters are like you're on their last legs or whatever. Like they're it's looking bad for them. They're probably gonna lose. And then Rick with like an army of people behind him just come in with like guns and just start saving everyone. But they're not gonna do that. It just sounds so fucking cool to me, but they're not gonna do it. And I want him to see Judith. He wouldn't even know who the fuck Judith is. I mean, you think you could tell what your own daughter growing up looks like if you haven't seen her since she was like 2 years old, and then now she's 10? Would you recognize her? I don't even know. I don't know. Fan service is also bad for video games. Yeah, I think it depends. I think it could be done right, but it depends. I know you're not a fan of animated shows. That's not entirely true. I just tend to not watch them, but I would definitely be not opposed to watching one. Robert Kirkman made a badass show called Invincible, and Steven Yeun voices the main character. That is the one animated show I want to watch more than any animated show, so if I ever do watch it, I probably will do reactions for it, so. Do you think the last episode of The Walking Dead will rise in ratings? Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. But the thing is, they have to promote it properly. They're really not talking about it. I haven't seen them post much like trailers for it or anything. So if they don't promote it enough, then it might not. But if they do, then I think it will. Do you like Okoye from Black Panther? She wasn't like the most interesting character in the movie, but I like her just because I like Denai Guerrera, so. Is it true that Joker 2 is going to be a musical vibe film with Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn? Yup. And I was so opposed to it at first. Like, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Because I was so excited for Joker 2. I love the first one. You guys know it's my favorite movie of all time. Favorite movie, literally, of all time. Which people always hate when I say that because they're like, what do you mean? It's literally a copy of other movies. Like, I don't give a fuck, okay? I was so opposed to that idea of it being a musical because I'm just like, why? They're going to make it all ridiculous and goofy, whatever. But then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, they could make this work. There's definitely a way for it to work. They just have to nail it. It has to be like a sort of a mental thing. And I think it will be because I believe someone said it's going to be in the perspective of Harley Quinn, which I also think is weird because it's a Joker movie. Why would it be in the perspective of Harley Quinn? You know, but if it is in the perspective of her, well, it makes sense why there'd be so many musical sequences because I believe they're going to make Harley Quinn in this movie someone who is an aspiring singer, right? Just like Joker in the movies, in the first one is an aspiring comedian, which is very different than the actual characters of Joker and Harley Quinn. But that's the kind of the whole point of the Joker. It was kind of very different. It was a very different take on the character. And I think they're going to do the same thing for Harley Quinn. So I think the whole singing thing will be kind of like her mental state, where if she's ever, when she goes crazy, she starts. I think it's going to be a very artistic and very interesting movie, and I'm very excited for it. But at first I was like, what the fuck? But I'm more excited now. Have you watched X or Pearl yet? X, but not Pearl. And I'll be honest, as much as I enjoyed X, the more I've thought about it, the more I've not liked it as much. I liked it. I did. I just wasn't like in love with it like I feel like a lot of people were. I think part of that is because 90% of the movie was just sex. No, okay, maybe like 50% of the movie was, but that's exaggeration as well. But there's a lot of sex in it, which makes sense. That's the whole point of the film. But it just, I don't know, it was too much. Yeah, I didn't think it went as far with some of the things that it should have gone with. I have a review for it if you're interested in watching it, watch it. But I gave it a good rating though. I think I gave it like a 7.5 out of 10, so it's definitely high. But I think as time went on, I probably lowered that down to like a 7 out of 10. My opinions do change on movies pretty drastically. I think people need to recognize that, because I always get comments of people being like, "You were like, what is the word? Hypocritical is not the word. What's the word? You contradicted yourself." People always say, they're like, "Oh, you said this movie was better than this movie 3 months ago, and then you said the other way. You said the opposite a few months later." I'm like, opinions can change, like that's just how life works. It'd be weird if we had the exact same opinions our entire life. It's very possible your opinions can change. That's just how it works. So going back to an old video and being like, "But you said this," which is something I hate. People do that all the time on Twitter. They'll find like someone who says something, whether it could be about anything, right? And they'll say something, and then someone will find them saying something like that kind of contradicts that, like years before. They'll find an old ass tweet, and they'll be like, "But you said this in 2016. It's like, okay, people can change. Their opinions can change. Like, what? You can't use their old opinions as like a proof that they're contradicting themselves. That makes no sense. I don't even know how I got on that tangent, but I did. I actually did watch Identity. It was a Patreon request back in like last summer, something like that. So it's on that reaction's on Patreon. It's not on YouTube. I didn't do a video for it, unfortunately, but I can't do a reaction, or I can't do a YouTube video for all of them because it's too much. I do it for all the really popular movies, or the ones that I expect a lot of people to want to watch. Batman or Batman? I'm gonna go with Batman. Who's excited for Black Panther 2? I got tickets for it on the earliest showing on Thursday, so I will be doing probably a review. I guess it depends how much I like the movie, but we'll see. Because if I don't enjoy the movie that much, I feel like there's not a point of doing a review, because then I'm like, what am I going to talk about? I feel like with the reviews, the way I feel about it is if I either really like it or really hate it, then I'll do a review. But if I don't really have much of an opinion on it, then it's kind of hard for me to review it, because I'm like, what am I going to talk about? I don't really have a big opinion on it, I felt that way about Nope. I did a Nope review. I did on my other channel, but I even said in the video, I'm like, I don't really have much to say. Like, I enjoyed it, but I'm like, I don't have much to say about it. But I'm definitely going to do, at the very least, an MCU ranking, probably on Friday or Saturday. So look out for that. All 30 MCU movies. I'm going to rank all of them. Not the shows, just the movies. And that'll be fun. You'd love Dexter. It's so dark and interesting. Hopefully you can give it a go in the future. I would love to. Will you react to the Penguin series? Depending on how popular it is, most likely. What actor would you choose to replace Tom Holland as Spider-Man? Well, I wouldn't replace him right now, but who would I want to play as Spider-Man? Who else? There was one actor that I remember, and I forget who his name was. Shit. I forget, honestly. There was one guy I remember watching, and I was like, he would be a damn good Spider-Man, but I totally forgot who it was. Are you aware of The Boys animated spin-off series, The Boys Diabolical? Someone said something about it, and I never really knew exactly what they were talking about, but I didn't know it was a full series with 8 episodes. That's kind of interesting. Even The Walking Dead has much higher rated episodes in the final season, with the last few being above 8 out of 10 and episode 23 gliding over 9.2. To be fair about the episode 23 thing, because it's not out for everyone, it makes sense why it's so much higher. This is something I've noticed on IMDb. the episodes that release early are usually a lot higher, and then once it gets released to everyone, it goes down usually. So I would wait to talk about. I'm sure that rating will still be relatively high because episode 23 was really good, but I think once everyone sees it, it might drop just a tiny bit because it makes sense. The people who have AMC Plus are probably the diehard Walking Dead fans. They're probably gonna like most of the show. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, the episodes are getting high ratings. They definitely are. Yeah. But then again, I really do think the people who are still watching the show are the diehard fans. So we do tend to, love it a lot more than most people do. So there's less ratings in general. If you look at like the amount of people who rated these episodes compared to like season 5 and stuff, big difference, How do you think they should handle the DCU going forward after The Flash? James Gunn has had a tough task on his hands. The biggest thing I got to say about that is make sure you keep your DCU and then your separate universes. I do not want them to try to tie them together at all. And I see people saying they should. Fuck that. The Batman, that's his own universe. The Reeves Batman universe, separate. Do not ever have that crossover with the DCU. None of that shit, right? Then you have the Joker stuff, which is also separate. Then you have the DCU. Now, the DCU, the way I think they should go about it, I want another Justice League movie. I would prefer they actually make the prior films matter. Like, I don't think they should just forget about what happened. And I'm kind of worried they're going to do that, but I would like them to at least acknowledge the prior films and have them be proper movies that these sequels actually, go off of. So for the Justice League 2, I would like it to be a continuation of the first one. Whether or not Zack Snyder directs it, I would like it to continue that. So that means you would have that storyline, there was a lot of stuff being built up there. So continue that shit, right? If they can't get Ben Affleck back, get a new Batman, right? You can have 2 Batmans at once. They have multiple Spider-Mans at once. I'm sure we're going to get more stuff with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. You can do multiple Batmans at once. It's okay if we have the Robert Pattinson stuff in his own universe, and then we also have a new Batman here. It's okay. If it's not Ben Affleck, recast with someone else. I would prefer Ben, but of course, if it has to be someone else, whatever. Superman, thankfully, Henry Cavill's back as Superman, so that's awesome. The Flash, recast. Definitely recast. I don't know who. Find someone. I don't really care who. Could be anyone. And like I said, have these be continuations of these movies. So Man of Steel 2 should be a continuation of the first one. It should still have those events matter. Don't just forget about those movies. They still matter. Have it continue off of that. And bring back Hans Zimmer's score for that movie. I don't want to see John Williams' theme in that movie. I love John Williams' Superman theme. I love it to death, but it's not his theme. It's not Henry Cavill's Superman's theme. Give us that original, or not the original, but you know what I mean, Hans Zimmer theme. Give it back, please. I fucking hated how they used the other theme in Black Adam. I was like, what is this? The Joker role is getting tired because everyone is doing their best Heath impression. Oh, I disagree so much because I don't think Joaquin Phoenix was anything like Heath Ledger in that movie. Now, when it comes to forgetting his name, the dude who played him in the Batman, I will say, yeah, that did kind of feel like a Heath impression, just a teensy bit. And not completely, but a little teensy bit. But I don't think Joaquin Phoenix was anything like Heath Ledger's Joker. You should watch Brothers. Oh, I already saw that. Great movie. I think it's in my top 100 movies, actually. Great movie. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who is Sam and Dean's dad, Supernatural, and is going to play a big role in The Boys season 4. Yeah, I did hear he was going to be in season 4, so that got me really excited. He's probably going to play a villain. He usually plays villains and things, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does again. I say he usually plays villains. I've only seen him play 2 villains, to be honest. But in I guess Watchmen, his character was kind of a villain. He was doing fucked up things, so I would call that a villain. And then obviously in The Walking Dead, he's mostly a villain, but not really anymore. Yeah, no, the first hour of X was, yeah, basically. And to make matters worse, I saw X on a date. It's a very awkward date. I keep convincing myself that Junior is still alive in Chucky's series. They did that character dirty. I was okay with it. I didn't really have a big issue with that. Ratings or reviews from critics and fans. Viewership is the amount of people who watch a specific series. Actually, so that's the thing. I agree with that. I think that's how it should be said. But a lot of places and like sites do use the word ratings to determine the amount of people who watched it, which is stupid. I don't think that ratings should be the reviews from critics and stuff, but there are some sites that say ratings for like the amount of people who watched it. It really just depends on the phrasing. It doesn't really matter either way. It's just a phrasing. But I personally, when I think of ratings, I do think of like the scores. You know, I'm gonna rate this episode. I'm gonna, but technically they do use rating for the viewership. Thank you, Tyler. I want to be a YouTuber, just don't know how to use a camera. In what way? I mean, all you gotta do is just, honestly, all you need is like a webcam to start. You don't even need a camera to start, really. You could just do videos without one. You don't need one. It's better to do it with one. Depends what you're doing, I guess. You can't do reactions without one, I guess. Yeah, ratings can be used for both. Yeah. Are you going to be talking The Walking Dead universe anytime during this? Yeah, I have a little bit, yeah. I have been, I'm avoiding spoilers, though, like any big spoilers. Maybe minor things for, like, I don't know, like, the way I feel about spoilers for things, if it happened a while ago, it's whatever, right? But if it's something that happened recently, like within the past couple weeks, I'm probably going to not talk about it too much. So, like, the recent episode of The Walking Dead, I'm not going to say anything about it. So... DCU is nothing compared to Marvel Universe. Yeah, I like Marvel Universe better, but I still love DCU. I don't think it needs to be better to be still worth watching, you know what I mean? I still, as a whole though, even if you're not looking at just the universes, you're just looking at Marvel and DC, I don't think I prefer one over the other. There's so many DC properties I fucking love, so many Marvel things I love. So it's, I don't really have a preference. Are you excited for Madam Web? It looks freaking wild based on the little bit of information we've had, but I guess. What happened to Green Lantern? I think they're doing a series or something. Congrats on reaching 25K. Thank you so much. Will you play the new God of War? Probably not, because I don't have a PS5. Don't watch Don't Worry, Darling? Well, I probably will. Not for the channel, though. You should definitely do the Craig 007 movies. I think I will, yeah. If I'm going to do any James Bond movies, I'm going to do those ones, for sure. Congrats on 25K. Thank you so much. Jared Leto was terrible. Honestly, I disagree. I'm definitely a minority there. I think he was okay as Joker. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was like a masterpiece at it, but I was completely fine with his portrayal of Joker. It was different, sure, but I didn't care. I didn't think it was terrible. Each Joker we've gotten feels like it's owned to me. Yeah, exactly. Barry Keoghan, that was his name. That was his name, okay. Completely forgot his name for a minute. Yeah, I guess it was more like Heath than any other Joker, I guess, but it wasn't exactly the same. So yeah, it definitely was his own. It's just, we got to see more of it, really. We only saw like 2 minutes of it. I haven't really been able to judge his performance yet. Like, I would never rank his Joker against the other ones because we haven't seen much of it. Yeah, it was on a date. Your favorite game besides COD games? Dying Light, first 2 Dying Lights, both, well, I guess there's only been 2 of them, but those are some of my favorites, definitely. It's a zombie game. If you guys love zombie games, play Dying Light. Dying Light is without a doubt my favorite zombies game. Fucking awesome. I'm not counting the Walking Dead Telltale games as games because those are more like interactive stories to me. So I love those stories. Those are more so like, they're stories. They're not really games to me. I love Far Cry. Far Cry 5. This newest one, 6, I haven't finished, but I do love it. 4 and 3 were good too. Most of the Far Cry games. GTA, obviously. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Not the first one. Second one was fucking incredible game. I hated the negative like connotation it had because of the launch of the game, but at a certain point, especially 2019, around the time Rise of Skywalker came out, that game was so good. I had so much fun. That was some of my most fun I've had on gaming. I remember playing with my friend. We just like 2v2s. We had such a good time. It was so good. If Scream 7 gets greenlit, which actors will you love to see in that movie? My choices are Lewis Pullman, Chase Sue Wonders, and Rachel Sonnott. I don't know. I don't really have a preference for who's in these movies, to be honest. I like seeing new actors. I'm like one of those people who loves seeing new actors because I just like to see like how new people can play in new roles, and I love to learn about new actors as well. So that's why I always hate when like I mean, it's not like I hate it, but I do kind of get slightly annoyed when I watch a movie and it's like everyone in it's someone I've seen a million times, and I'm like, all right, I know I've seen you in a million performances, and I like seeing some new faces every now and then, you know. But for Scream, if I could think of one actor I would love to see, the problem is I don't know a lot of younger actors. I really don't. I know more of like the older, like, you know, actors who are mainly prominent like the 90s and stuff. Like I feel like those are the ones I tend to think about the most when I think of actors. I don't really think of like the younger ones. I feel like Scream is more fit for younger actors. So I don't know. Put Millie Bobby Brown in there. How about that? If I'm being honest, I think DC has better characters than Marvel, but Warner didn't know what to do with them, which is why Gunn is going to be great. He's a fan of the source. Yeah, that's true. The only thing about Gunn I'm slightly worried about, but I don't think this is going to be a problem. I just, because of Gunn's projects that he has done, I am a little worried. I hope he doesn't push this narrative of like, we need these movies to all be as goofy as my movies are, you know, because obviously his movies are really goofy, but it works for him. He does amazing with that, right? Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 and the Suicide Squad are incredible. Peacemaker was great as well. But I don't want him to have this like need to make everything like that. I don't think he will, because he's not going to have like, I'm sure he's going to be smart enough to let the directors do what they're going to do with their stories and their movies. I'm sure he will. I'm just slightly worried it's going to go in that direction. So I don't want to see, like, for example, the Flash movie we get. I'm sure it's going to be a little goofy, but I would like to see some seriousness to a story like that. Aquaman 2, it's probably going to be a bit goofy, but I fucking love James Wan, so I'm sure it's going to be amazing. What movies could they do after that? Wonder Woman 3, I'm sure they're going to do. I don't know. I just don't want to see James Gunn's, like, humor in all of them. You know what I mean? Although I love his humor. It's great. I just don't want to see it in every movie. But I don't think he will do that. I'm just slightly worried that will happen, but I don't think it will. Do you think Nicolas Cage would be a good Joker? Maybe like 10 years ago. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, but I think he'd be a better Riddler, to be honest. I know this is a bizarre question, but do sex scenes that make a show better in your eyes? I'm asking this because maybe people think having these romantic scenes bring energy to the show. I don't really care for them. Like, I've never thought they added anything to a scene. You know what I mean? Like, that's why one of the things I like about The Walking Dead is they don't show that. They just kind of like, you know, show that they're doing it, and then they're like, oh, we'll skip over it. Because we don't need it to be very drawn out unless it's important for the story, which is why X, it made sense. X was like very much about sex. That was the whole theme of the movie, right? So it makes sense for you to really have a drawn out scene of that because it's the whole point of the movie, right? But I don't want to see that in like a show that has nothing to do with that. I don't need to see that drawn out. And I know a lot of the times they do it for the appeal. Obviously, that's very appealing. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, you sex is disgusting. Like, obviously, you know, that's not what I'm saying, but it's just, I don't feel like it's necessary for a lot of shows where they sometimes will just really push it for like 5 minutes long. You'll just see like the most, you know, The Boys mostly for their sex scenes or anything. It's mainly for humor and it works. So I'm fine with that in The Boys because it's always for humor and it's always hilarious. I just watched Hero Gasm the other day, by the way. I haven't watched 7 and 8 yet, but Hero Gasm, it was hilarious, everything they were doing with that. So it works in that way, but like I don't need like a drawn out scene. I can't think of any examples, but I just don't need that, you know? You haven't seen Dawn of the Dead? Nope. I loved your reaction to The Walking Dead. Thank you so much. Have you checked out the deleted scene? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, that was a bit much, a bit more, yeah. I think I reacted to his deleted scene, did I? I feel like I did. There might be a video of that on this channel. How many seasons do you think Chucky should or will have? This might be a hard pill to swallow for some people. Not really. Is that the right phrase for that? No. I don't know. I don't think there should be any more seasons. I think they should go back to doing movies. I would much prefer to see more Chucky movies. I enjoy the show, I do, but I just want them to go back in movie format. I think Chucky works better like that. Just find some really interesting situation and have Chucky kill people one by one. Only one Chucky. I don't want to see a million of them anymore. I mean, it's fun for the show, but I don't want to see that again after this show. But it's gonna be hard to do because you're gonna have to, like, it's hard to do that when you have a lot. What's the word? When you make something bigger and then you have to scale it down after, I feel like it's hard to do. But I would prefer that. Like, imagine Chucky on a plane or something. Imagine a movie just set on a plane and it's just Chucky killing people on a plane for an hour and 15 minutes. Like, that would be what I want to see from Chucky, to be honest, you know? So I would prefer more movies, to be honest. But that's just me. I don't know what more they can do with this universe past that. I just want to see that. Sabrina Carpenter playing Gwen Stacy? I didn't hear about that. I'd be okay with that. Are you happy with Man of Steel 2 being made? Oh, very happy, yeah. I'd be more happy if Snyder was involved, but I don't think he will be. Do you have high hopes for Daredevil Born Again? I'm excited, but I don't know if I have high hopes. Because I'm worried they're going to fuck it up. But I think it could be good. It's going to be exciting regardless. To see Carly Cox back, you know, in a full series like that, I think it's going to be good. But I'm just a little worried. Millie Bobby Brown is too expensive for Scream. Did you hear about the original ending for Halloween Ends? I heard about something, but I'm not sure if it's the same one you heard. And I kind of forget what I heard. So, do you think Megan Fox would be a good Poison Ivy? Oh, she's kind of weird, so maybe. But I don't know. Who would I want to be Poison Ivy? Honestly, what's her name? Ethan Hawke's daughter. What's her name? The girl who plays Robin. Why am I forgetting her name? Maya Hawke. Only because her mom played Poison Ivy in the originals. So that'd be kind of cool to see that. How do you record films / shows for reactions prior to editing? So I might do a video on that, honestly, because there's a lot of people who want to get into reacting and they don't know how to. So I might do a video, probably on my other channel, of how explaining how to do that. But the shortest way to say it is I use OBS Studio. So use OBS, you can screen record with that. You can also record your face. You can do a lot with OBS. And you have to use Firefox to record it because any other browsing software will block it. So you can't record anything else using those because, I guess, copyright. But Firefox allows it. That's how I do. I might do a whole video on it, but that's just the way I do it. Just a quick way to say it, I guess. Herogasm is the highest rated episode. What is your personal favorite? It would probably be Herogasm as well. You'll see my reaction within the next few weeks. I was freaking out in excitement. That shit was fun. Please keep Megan Fox away from TC. Would you rather be grounded for 2 weeks or spanked for 5 minutes? What? What? Honestly, probably the spanked one, but what the fuck? What kind of question is that? Austin Daniels, she's a good actress. Come on now. Am I forgetting who Austin Daniels is? I gotta look her up. The fuck? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Austin Daniels isn't coming up. Oh, that's a You're talking about the guy in the chat named Austin Daniels, and I'm trying to look up a. That's funny. That's actually funny. I was like, I don't know who Austin Daniels is. Let me look them up. Okay, yeah, send it to me on Twitter. I'll take a look. I am going to end the stream soon, by the way, for a few reasons. A, I gotta go. B, my throat hurts. C, I gotta use the bathroom. So let's go for it. Did Robin's character seem different from season 3 and 4? I didn't really see it. I guess she was just interacting with different people, because season 3 she was only interacting with like Steve really and Dustin. Season 4 she was interacting mostly with Nancy, so I think people need to view The Walking Dead 11/24 as a finale to the Kang era rather than the entire series. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is, which is unfortunate because I feel like it should be a finale for the series, but yeah, that's not what it is at all. Maya Hawke would be terrible? Probably. I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool because she was the daughter of, you know. I have seen, funny enough, I have seen one or two, I don't know about one or two, I have seen one person with the, who's a female named Austin, so. Season 1 to 8 were the OG seasons with Rick. Where, season 1 to 8, where, you might say where, were the OG seasons with Rick, and the story will continue anyways, so I don't think it needs to be in the finale. I think he does. No, I don't know. I don't know if he will. I hope he will, though. Can you get copyright claims on Patreon too? It's not a claim, but I do think there is legal trouble there, so people do try to work around as much as they can. I'm not even posting the full uncuts to Patreon, though. I post them to Vimeo, and then I just put the link on Patreon. How many seasons of Chucky do you think there will be? Probably 3, is my guess. I guess it depends. See ya, Marvelin. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end the stream now, so I'll just do some like closing thoughts. For videos this week, tomorrow is the next Chucky episode, so I want to post that at night or Thursday, depending on how quickly I can get it done. Then on Friday, or Thursday actually, Black Panther 2, so I'll probably post a review for that. Friday or Saturday, I should have a ranking of all the MCU movies. And then also that weekend, I'm going to post The Boys Episode 5 reaction. After that, there's a couple movie reactions I'm working on. No Country for Old Men, Don't Breathe, and Black Swan. So all 3 of those should come within the next few weeks, but I'm not sure which one will come first. Just depends which one I get to first. Jessica Jones, more videos of those. Obviously Walking Dead this Sunday as well. Or no Walking Dead episode this Sunday, actually, because the finale is in 2 weeks. So nothing Walking Dead related this weekend, other than I might do just a random video on it. Maybe like a finale predictions video would be interesting. So we'll see. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed the stream. If you did, definitely don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm sure most of you watching this are already subscribed, though, because chances are if you're watching me, you probably... I feel like most people who watch streams, they're probably already subscribers of the channel in the first place. So yeah, I'll see you all later. Have a good night. Peace out.